Welcome to the Root of Power podcast, where I teach you how to chase your joy, find alignment, and create a life and a business that you love, using actionable methods, interviews, and inspiring stories from people who know that true freedom is found within. I'm your host, your always hype woman and sometimes ass kicker, Amanda Chils, and I am so proud of you for choosing to step into your power. Come along, we've got dreams to build. Okay, my love, I have put everything that I offer for free on one page so that we are not doing more work than we have to, because why would we do that? Hashtag work smarter, not harder. So livemyhappyhealth.com/free. You are going to find everything I've created for not only leveling up in your personal life and building a life that you love, but leveling up in your business life and building a business that you love. Okay? livemyhappyhealth.com/free. Love you. Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of the Root of Power. I hope that you are well. If this is your first time joining, hi. And if this is your second or third or whatever time joining, hi. Like, super glad that you're here. Super grateful for you. We love our little community. I say we a lot when I really mean me and my multiple personalities love this community. I hope 2023 is treating you well. And if it's not, I hope that it turns around soon for you. I wanted to talk today about my thoughts on pro-con lists. So I know that they are like so ubiquitous, which I think means common. If it doesn't, someone tell me, because I'm using that word incorrectly. But before I get into that, I wanted to just point you to the direction. If you're like, hey, I really like this chick, I think I want to work with her, like, hi, we would love that. If you head to my website, it'll be linked in the show notes, livemyhappyhealth.com/services. You're going to see ways to work with me. I've got courses. I'll be doing a group coaching program, and I'll be hosting master classes throughout the year. So those are all options if you want to work with me. And if not, totally legit. Live your dream. Or if you're like, hey, I think I may want to work with you, but it'll be in the future, like, oh my God, amazing. Or if you're like, hey, I may want to work with you, but I think this is really what I need, and you don't do that, shoot me a message on Instagram and let me know, and maybe I can point you in the right direction. So any and all options are good. We love them all. So pro-con list. I was talking with a client a few weeks ago who was making like a really big decision, and they are like so cute and so sweet, and I love them so much. And they like came to session with a notebook, and I was like, oh my God, I like love when people come with notebooks. Not that you have to, but it's like, I'm like, okay, cute. Like, I'm a notebook person, so I buy them in bulk. It's like a whole thing. So high five to the planner people and the notebook people. I don't know what like normal people do to organize their thoughts, but like I'm 100% a notebook person. So they came with a notebook, and I was like, okay, what is going on? And they said, I have this huge decision to make. It's going to be life-changing, whatever I choose. One option is life-changing. The other option is life stays the same, but then I miss this opportunity. And that, of course, will change things. So I said, okay, great. Let's walk through this decision. They were talking about getting a new job and moving, or staying here, potentially keeping the same job, or potentially getting a new job in the same area. And they were like, I started making a pro-con list, and I was like, no, no, like, why are we making a pro-con list? Like, why? And they were like, oh, I thought that you would tell me to make a pro-con list. And I was like, me, like, maybe, like, they have their place. They're just not the first place that I go. And I was like, I actually kind of hate pro-con lists. So like, again, they have their place. Don't like misunderstand that I'm like, never make a pro-con list again. Like, although I never make them, but that's me. They have their place. They're just not the first place that I go, and I will tell you why. So they were saying they made this pro-con list, and they were so confused, and they didn't know, and they weren't any closer to making a decision. Okay, maybe you have felt this way where you're like, I make all these lists, I have a big decision to make, and at the end of the day, at the end of this list, you're no closer to choosing. Okay, that is part of the problem with pro-con lists. Like, here's my issue with pro-con lists. They put you in your head way too much. Like, most people live in their head all day long, and that gets them in trouble because where we actually want you to be is in your body. Your body will never lie to you. It can't. It can't lie. Things feel good or they don't. It feels like an expansion. It feels like something to step into, or it feels like a contraction. Decisions feel light or they feel heavy. Like, there is rarely an in between. And if there's an in between, then a pro con list has its place. Then maybe we want to flesh out our options so we can feel where they're sitting in our body and how they're feeling. So they had spent days, literally days, trying to make this decision, trying to think through this decision. And I was like, okay, that's the problem. Like, you're thinking too much. So they had the pro con, like, listen, your brain is smart, right? Your brain is smart. It has gotten you this far, which means it works. Isn't always in the most helpful way, but it's definitely working. So the beautiful thing about your brain is it is a generator, right? All brains generate thoughts and ideas all the time. It's literally what they do. So if you're thinking of reasons to go, if you're thinking of reasons to stay, if you're thinking of reasons to choose or not choose something, your brain's going to keep throwing you ideas. If you were thinking about getting into a relationship, it's going to go, oh my God, they're so cute. They're so charming. They're good with finances. They have a job. I want to squeeze their tushy. I want to like gnaw on their leg like a chicken wing. I want to travel with this person. They're so fun. And if you're thinking of reasons to get out, you're going to find things. Oh, they're kind of annoying, or they're not super great at communicating emotions, or like they, they only have whatever, like whatever, right? Whatever you ask your brain to do, it's going to brainstorm things, but it doesn't actually get you closer to a decision. So what I have found is if people are only relying on a pro con list, if people are only relying on thinking through something, they often end up way more confused than when they started, because your brain is doing exactly what you asked it to do. It's giving you all these things, all these reasons, all these ideas, all these words. And then you end up with a book of reasons to stay and a book of reasons to go or to choose or not choose something. And you're just stuck in indecision land. So pro con lists, because they keep you up in your head, keep you indecisive. And then if you're like most of my clients, you take that personally. Oh, I'm indecisive. I can't make a decision. I'm so bad at decision making. I don't know what to do. I never know what to do. And if you're in indecisive mode and you're someone who possums from pressure, because having to make a decision is a lot of pressure, and you're a possum, you're going to play dead until the threat, aka making a decision, passes, then a decision will be made for you, which reinforces that you're bad at decision making, that you never make the right decisions, that opportunities always pass you by, that you never get what you want. But it's because we're using the wrong decision making framework. So a pro con list has its place. It's just not the first place that we want to look, because it keeps you in indecision. It keeps you confused, and we don't want you confused. We want you to be clear. This is a yes, or this is a no, or this is a 80% yes or an 80% no. Like, really, that threshold is perfectly fine as well. You're never, most of the time we don't know 100% certain how things are going to work out, but I can guarantee that I know with 100% certainty that you'll be fine and you'll make whatever decision you choose the right decision. Because why would you make a decision and then sabotage it? That doesn't make sense, right? You're not going to do that consciously. So pro-con lists keep you in your head and they keep you confused because it's too much information, and your brain is going to do exactly what you ask it to do, which is give you a shit ton of reasons for and against. And then you're like, shit, now I have a shit ton of reasons for and against. And Even as one list is longer, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's better. Like, let's say your no list is longer and it doesn't make sense on paper, but you know that it's a yes. Well, how do you know that it's a yes? We're going to drop into our body. So the other problem with pro-con lists is that they wrap up your energy. Indecision is extremely draining, extremely draining. You know this as soon as I said it. Once you make a decision, your brain is like, bet, go. Now we can start working on that decision. We can make things happen. But like that indecision, that I don't, is literally so tiring to your brain and your body. So now not only are you confused, you're exhausted. And that is not a good combination because we don't want to make decisions when we're confused or exhausted. We want to make decisions that give us energy, that are activating, whether it's a yes or a no. That doesn't always mean it's a yes. But indecision is exhausting. It drains you. It keeps you stuck. And humans run from pressure, right? So if you're someone who possums, guess what you're now doing? Possuming. I can't make a decision. You dig into that and you dig into that and you dig into that, and then you feel stuck. This is not good. So a pro-con list keeps you in indecision mode because you're in your brain too much and you're trying to think of the best case, worst case scenario. What happens then? Like, no. It puts you in anxiety mode. It is not helpful. The other thing that I touched on earlier is that it puts you in your head and not your body. Your brain can lie to you, right? You ever been in a relationship that was garbage, but you convinced yourself it was great? You ever convinced yourself to stay in a job that you hated and knew was toxic as fuck, but you made up reasons to stay? Oh, I like my coworkers. Well, the pay's not that bad. I don't know if I could get another job. I don't know if I can get another job this good. What if the next place is worse? Well, I'm already here. I'll retire in 30 years. Yeah, right? People will do all sorts of mental gymnastics in order to not make a change, in order to not have to put in work. Pro-con list, what they do, because they keep you in your head, is they keep you doing mental gymnastics. Well, I don't want to move because I'll have to get a new lease and I'll be locked in for a year. And what if I hate it? And then I'm stuck for a year. And what if it's just like this place, but I really like my coworkers here and I really like my clients, or, like the work I do is okay. Like maybe it won't be better. Maybe it'll just be the same. All those mental gymnastics are keeping you stuck and they're keeping you tired and they're keeping you confused because you're in your head and you're not checking in with your body. Your head can lie to you all day long. All day long. I cannot tell you how many clients I work with who are like, but I love them. I love my partner who's abusive and cruel. And I say, what do you love about them? And they can't name a damn thing. Well, sometimes they're nice. Oh, and they're not beating you. Super legit. Yeah, that sounds really great. No, that's mental gymnastics. That's being up in your head all the time, trying to justify something instead of being in your body, which knows. But most people are very disconnected from their body because they live in their head all the time. And then they create pro-con lists because they're in their head all the time and then they're confused. And then you see how this cycle keeps going and going and going. And at the end of the day, you never get what you want because you can't even tell what you want because you're in your head and not in your body. So my problem with pro-con lists is that they continue that cycle, right? Now, what's the goal? If you're like, okay, well, shit, am I supposed to never make a pro-con list again? Well, I don't know. I never use them. So my life is good. That doesn't mean that you can never use them. I don't want to take something that is valuable to you, right? You don't have to do a damn thing I say ever. This is your life. But let me give you an option to pair with it. The goal is that your brain and your heart are on the same page. But if you never ask your heart, it can never get on the page. If you're only ever asking your brain, I guarantee you're going to feel confused and think you're bad at decision making and miss opportunities because you're not feeling them out. We need your brain and your heart to be aligned. That is actually what we want. So, when you are faced with a decision, I want you to ask yourself, how does it feel? How does it feel? Does it feel good? Does it feel right? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel fun? Whatever it is that you're looking for, does this feel like growth? Does it feel safe? Does it feel whatever adjective you're looking for, whatever feeling you're looking for, and then justify it with your brain. This taking a new job feels really good because I'm kind of tired of this job. I'm feeling like I want something new. I'm feeling a little resentful because I have asked for promotions and raises and I've, justified them and I haven't gotten them. I'm just feeling tired of this environment. I want to go live by the ocean. Like, fuck yeah, go do that. Go, that's amazing. But if you say, well, it'll be hard and it's a little more expensive, and what if I don't find anyone to be friends with, and what if it's really overwhelming? What if it's the same? Okay, but that's in your head, right? So let's make decisions with our heart and justify them with our head, even if they don't make a ton of sense on paper, right? When I moved to North Carolina, it didn't make a ton of sense on paper. I had literally never been to the state. I had never set foot in North Carolina before I moved here and started looking for property. I didn't know anyone, literally didn't know a single soul. I moved here by myself and talked to Madge, my dog, for 4 months because I had no friends. I was in the middle of school. I was in the middle of grad school. I moved to a small town, didn't even move to a big city, moved to a small town, never had a farm in my life, moved to a farm, didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Like, had no idea. But I'm a little better now, but like, damn, it's a learning curve. Got horses. Never had horses before, had been around them. I like basically know how to keep them alive, but like not the intricacies. It didn't make sense on paper. Knew that I would build my own business. Didn't know how it would, I don't know. We just figured it out, right? Like, so on paper, me moving to North Carolina made no sense, but I knew it was the right decision. As soon as I stepped foot on this property, I knew that I was home. I knew that I was home. I could feel it. That made all the difference. So I said, okay, this is right. I'm going to justify it because I can afford it. My family's going to help and they're going to move up. Like, I can learn how to take care of animals. I am going to run and practice from this farm. Like, all of those things are figure outable. I can get a job. I can make friends. Like, that's how I justified the decision. But honestly, I knew it was the right decision. So if you think back into your life, what are some things that like maybe didn't make sense on paper, but they made perfect sense in terms of your heart? Like, maybe the partner you chose, maybe the career that you have, maybe a trip that you took, maybe where you live. You're like, oh yeah, it didn't make a ton of sense, but like that was the right decision. I would be willing to bet one of my roosters, who they're problematic. Anyway, I would be willing to bet one of my roosters that like when you made that decision that was so right for you, you weren't in your head about it. You just knew, right? How do you just know? Your body's telling you. Your intuition is telling you. So pro-con list maybe have their place. I'm not a big fan of them, obviously, since I'm doing a whole podcast episode on them. I don't think you need them ever. But if you're like, I really like that safety net, who gives a shit what I say, right? What I would encourage you to do is make a decision with your heart. Ask yourself how it feels. Which decision feels right? Then do a pro-con list. We want your brain and your heart in alignment. We want them on the same page. We don't want you up in your head all the time. That's called anxiety, and it makes you miserable. It's not a good time. 0 out of 10 stars, would not recommend. So that is my spiel on pro-con list. I would love your thoughts, like whether you 100% agree with me or you're like, nah, bitch, pro-con list, save my life. They're my ride or die. You can pry my pro-con list from my cold, dead hands. Okay, that's what you can do. So like, if you agree or disagree, shoot me a message. Like, let me know. I would love, love, love to hear your thoughts on this at Amanda_Chils on Instagram. Please let me know your thoughts. So go forth. I hope you make decisions with your heart and bring your head along instead of trying to make them with your head and bringing your heart along. Because we actually want to give you a heart on. That's what we want. We want decisions to give you a heart on. And if you want to work with me, livemyhappyhealth.com is where you're going to find all my stuff. Love you. Hope you have a beautiful day or night, whatever time you're listening to this. Give me your thoughts.